When in doubt this month, Aries, make the bold choice. The choice that feels like it leads to growth and expansion and challenge to a degree, rather than the comfortable, the old, the regularly scheduled programming is what I just heard. Hey Aries, welcome to your mid-November reading. Let's get right into it. Let's see where you are, what's showing up to meet you, and what Spirit most wants you to know about it for your highest good in order, wow, jumping, in order to create your best possible future. I'm just going to show this to you. We're going to throw this right back in the deck. But a nice preview, the Six of Wands, big Aries energy, making the choice that feels bold, making the choice that, gets you seen. It's challenging. Six of Wands. It's a good thing. It's like the good results of challenging yourself. So Spirit is asking you to remind yourself of that. Yes, there's discomfort that comes with challenging myself. And what else is it that could come with that? So remind yourself, balance out the with the okay. Whew, mid-November for Aries. Spirit, where do you see Aries standing? And what do you see showing up to meet them? And what do you want them to know about it? What is the larger message that you want them to get and orient themselves to in order to make the most of the back half of November? Yeah, I'm hearing it's like there can be this misconception that feeling out of our depth, or like we are not as good at something as we want to be, or we're not where we are, or even sadness or things like that can be an indicator that we're doing something wrong. And Spirit is reminding you that, like, no, everything happens in cycles. And it's, you could equate sadness to winter. It's like it's an essential part of the wavelength that gets you back to spring. So you don't necessarily need to be trying to make decisions that negate sadness or fear. Does that make sense? Like, let's not demonize any of our emotions. They're all showing up to show us something. So when you're making your decision this month about, like, do I stay with the regularly scheduled programming, or do I move in a direction that feels challenging but exciting? Just keep that in mind. Beautiful. Yeah, having the widest public support is not necessarily the sign that you're always doing things right. I feel like this decision that you need to make, or this path that you have set yourself on, in some way sets you apart from a lot of other people. That doesn't mean that something about you needs to change. So you are showing up as the King of Cups. We could say that you are deep in your feelings in the back half of November, and that is true in a very mature way. I see some deliberate self-exploration, emotional exploration, therapy, whether like conventional or unconventional. I see you also providing emotional support to others. The Empress is showing up in the current situation. A lot of creativity here, unsurprising with what Spirit said about making a bold choice. Aries, one of your best qualities is your willingness to, like, get up and go, to take action, to move with what you feel. Maybe something that is a little harder is letting a process unfold and allowing for the unfolding rather than trying to skip steps. Spirit is showing me somebody like flipping to the last page of the book and like reading it, and it's like, but if you've ever done that, you know how you like kind of cost yourself the journey. So, Spirit is just using that as a metaphor to remind you to enjoy the journey, to allow the process of what's happening in your life to unfold, to not necessarily be trying to predict or to rush to whatever the ending is. Something is growing. Tend to your pay a lot of attention and tend to your emotional wellness, your feeling of emotional balance. Like, take care of yourself. If you're starting to get stressed out, don't just power through that. Notice that and take steps to bring it into balance. Take steps to, put in a counterweight. Okay. Worked really hard today. That means tomorrow I'm going to sign off a little bit early and I'm going to take a nap or whatever. You would benefit from naps, from journaling, from going outside and taking some walks in nature. I really feel that one the most strongly. And for those of you who can stand it, go without your headphones, go without music or any kind of distractions, and just kind of be with yourself and be with the outside world and notice what kind of signs show up externally, and also those kind of thoughts and images that bubble up from inside of you. Big King of Cups and Empress vibes here. I love living in the age that we are in many ways, with like the access to technology and information and all of these things. And there is a cost when we are constantly bombarding ourselves with input, that we miss out on the stuff that is natural to us that wants to be born. Empress, she's pregnant, right? The stuff that in us wants to uniquely from us express itself. Whether that's having an actual baby, whether that is sharing your passionate thoughts in a public way, which is what I feel for a lot of you. And there are various ways to do that. Obviously, there's social media, there's YouTube, there's podcasting, there's all kinds of book, there's all kinds of painting. Spirit is showing me a lot of different things. We've got the Ace of Wands sitting in the situation arising. What is coming? Ace of Wands, this bolt of inspiration and excitement. And a lot of times when we talk about like having a vision, we think that the vision comes to us all at once. That can happen for some people, but I feel like that's a fairly rare thing. A lot more often, it's kind of like a spiritual scavenger hunt, where it's like, oh, I just feel like taking a new drawing class. I don't know why Spirit just popped in with that. Some Aries out there is like right about to do this, or is on the verge, or is going back and forth on it. And then it's like, okay, so you're taking a new drawing class, and when you're there, one of the models happens to be a person who works in a field that you've always been interested, and you and that person get into a conversation, and they introduce you to somebody who can So logic need not apply. That's why Spirit is saying go with what you feel. Your feelings, especially when you take the time to, clear like the mud, clear the excess, and you can see clearly, like looking down through clear waters and being able to see the bottom. When you have that relationship with your emotions and you just feel, I feel really excited about this, or I just don't really like that person very much, or as good as this thing seems on paper, I'm just not feeling it. And when you can actually move with that and then find out and allow the process to happen, where like, okay, this whole time I'm really scared. Did I do the wrong thing? That looked really good on paper. Have I done the wrong thing? And then maybe it takes maybe it takes 2 weeks, maybe it takes 2 years to get to the point where you're like, oh, thank God I didn't do that thing or marry that person or take that job or move to that place that looked so good on paper, because I would have gotten here. Five of Pentacles is the heart of the matter. There's a couple things here. Some of it is what you will do doesn't necessarily always get the most approval. You are, in some ways, going out on your own. Spirit is reminding me that you had a full moon in your second house, full moon in Taurus, a couple days ago. And that shone a light on your ability to earn your own income. The planet Uranus has also been transiting through that second house for a long time. He's retrograde right now, and then he'll finish up his ride through that house for you. But genius ideas around how to make income or understanding something about yourself and your values is very likely. And again, when we follow our values, that tends to mean that some people we alienate, or we may feel alienated. Well, it's still always the right choice to go with what is true for you. Always. Short-term future. The Hermit. A lot of creative, reflective cards here. Going your own way, and then here's the Hermit. Don't worry, Aries, you'll be challenging people. You will be your fiery, creative self. I just feel that there's a lot of spirits like there's like an emotional and spiritual growth spurt, almost like some of y'all feel very old in the back half of November. Tired, old, like an old wise person, no matter what chronological age you might be in. Like knowing that there's hard road ahead or hard work that you need to do or want to do, and coming from this very wise, reflective place. I want to encourage you that help is on the way, is what Spirit just said. Sitting in the long-term future. Five of Wands, clarified by the Knight of Cups. I didn't intend to pull an extra card. Spirit just wanted it that way. Five of Wands, throwing your hat in the ring. Fighting for your fleece. You see the person in the Five of Wands, they're fighting for what the dragon is holding, and that is the golden fleece. And if you were to rewind back to the beginning of this video and see the Six of Wands, the card that follows this one that jumped out in the beginning, it is Jason holding the golden fleece, having won the fight and being honored and appreciated for it. Help is on the way. Love is available. Knight of Cups. Keep your heart open. I feel that many of you are trying to keep your light and keep your creativity and keep your joie de vivre, right? Your joy for life, even despite feeling hurt, marginalized, bereft. And I want to tell you, don't give up hope. I want to tell you that you have it in you to keep fighting, and there are people like me out here that are going to be right alongside of you. Those of us who want to live in a heartfelt, loving, a place that steps forward and a place that is open. You can have what you want, and I feel like even though you need to do some self-reflection and there is some turning away from those that are not associated with you, it is only so that you can find the ones that are. So that may be part of your bold choice, is moving away from things, people, institutions that don't align with you, that don't make you feel right, King of Cups, and finding the ones who do. Knight of Cups, on a journey, a loving, open-hearted offer, and an invitation and an acceptance of that invitation. Don't give up your light, don't give up the fight. You have allies, open your heart to them. Shine your light, that's how they find you. You have a mission, choose to accept it. How does that hit you, Aries? Is any of this resonating? Thank you for listening. I appreciate you very much. Keep that heart light on. I'm right there with you. Hope I see you in December. Till then, bye, Aries.